Um, uh, what's going on, everybody? My mic was muted for a second. I hope you can forgive me for that 30 seconds of silence. That's me looking at other screens. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And today I want to talk about the BET Awards. And the BET Awards is this event that is might be considered sort of an annual cringe fest where we celebrate something that is described as Black culture, but it's not a culture that I can identify with. It's not a culture that I understand, not because I'm older, but because I actually believe in healthy Black families. I believe in Black education. I believe in Black wealth. I believe in Black people actually doing better, not working as hard as we can to catch STDs and to kill each other. But maybe that makes me unhip. Maybe that makes me uncool. It's okay. If that's what it means to be cool, then I will be the uncoolest person in here. In fact, I will be like extra hot. I will be lukewarm, hot, whatever you want to, whatever the opposite of cool is, that's going to be me, because I'm not trying to be one of your little friends if you think that this is a culture that's going to benefit you. And so anyway, before I get started, I want to say hello to everybody. And there was 30 seconds of silence at the beginning of this video. I want to apologize for that. That was because I didn't hit the right button. So sorry for that. I want to ask you all a question. How many of you watched the BET Awards? Give me a yes if you watched some of it. It's okay if you watched some of it. It's okay if you saw it, and because the BET Awards is not always all bad. It's not completely terrible, but I will say that unfortunately the bad outweighs the good. Because, for example, if you know little things like there's an explosion in the numbers of STD rates and HIV rates in cities like Houston and Atlanta, you will know that this culture is a death culture. That this culture that they're making billions of dollars from is a culture designed to kill you. It's designed to kill your children. It's designed to get you in prison as quick as possible. It's designed to keep you as broke as hell. It's designed to make sure that your daughter gets pregnant. It's designed to kind of ruin your life. And I really think that it's very, very important for those of us in the Black community to understand that we have to be the guardians of our own community. That if you are waiting for massa to decide that they want to give you a healthy culture, then you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. Because we know that instant gratification is very profitable. Instant gratification feels good. Instant gratification through sex, drugs, money, all that stuff is driven by the release of dopamine. And dopamine is always going to feel better than hard work. Dopamine is always going to feel better than sacrifice. Dopamine is always going to feel better than investing for the future. Instant gratification, that's dopamine. That's that chemical in your brain that gets released every time you go and you sleep with a pretty girl. It gets released from your brain, in your brain every time you go out here and you get into whatever, you get high, getting drunk, acting a fool, being a city girl. That dopamine feels good. But the problem with that, though, is that there is a long-term consequence to this. And what you see is throughout the community, unfortunately, are all the symptoms of a failing community, a failing culture. Now, if I sound extreme on this, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings. I'm sorry if you think I'm a boomer. I'm sorry if you think something's wrong with me. I'm sorry if you think I'm being uppity, because I don't think Big Sexy and all this other nonsense, this ratchetness, is an accurate reflection of the Black woman. I'm sorry if you are offended that I can't go along with the crowd, but I can tell you that there's a problem here. Houston, we have a problem. And I don't know if we understand the urgency of this problem. When you have corporations like Paramount, that's run by Sumner Redstone's family, basically. They're in the business. They're right now, I think they're in the process of selling Paramount, which I don't know what's going to happen to BET once they sell Paramount. Paramount is a horribly run company, by the way. It's a complete circus. It's an absolute circus. They made major mistakes when it came to streaming. They've been losing billions of dollars. And I'm looking at CNBC right now, and I see that their stock price dropped again today. And they're looking for streaming partners to save them. They're looking for a buyer. Nobody will buy them. They're looking for it's a mess. It's a complete mess. So BET, if you work for BET or if you are a participant in that company on any level, just know that your economic daddy is having trouble. Paramount, your parent company, is struggling. Now, with that said, let me move forward. Give me a thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. You're watching drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. This podcast is also on Spotify. And if you have an issue with media outlets like BET, just know that there are people out here like us that are trying to build Black-owned media outlets. I just don't have billions of dollars like Paramount, but I do have something more valuable than money, which is you. So if you could just hop on your Spotify and just look up my name. I got a couple podcasts that I think will help you in your life. One is called the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. That's where I put a lot of this content. I have another one called Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market. I have a PhD in finance. I talk about the stock market every single day because that's the number one wealth builder in this country. I also have another podcast called How to Make Money Without Working. So feel free to check them all out. This is me trying to be supportive, to not just complain about the problem, but to provide solutions. All right. So let's dive back into this. Okay. So with the BET Awards, first thing that was really interesting is that I noticed that there was a segment where Sexyy Red was twerking to this chorus, where there's this song where they start saying, get it sexy, get it sexy. She starts twerking. And right after the twerk session was over, Kamala Harris came on the air, from what I understand. So Kamala Harris comes on with Taraji P. Henson. Did anybody see that? How many of y'all saw that? And Kamala is talking to Taraji, like, hey, girl, it's out here in these streets, girl. You know how the politicians do. The politicians, they love to show up in the black community when it's election time. Ain't got nothing else to say to us the other 3.5 years. But right when election season hits, they all over the black outlets. Every black outlet I know of has a politician that's being interviewed on that outlet. Every black outlet I know of, even some of the ones that are online, are bringing in different politicians. And I'm not knocking them or nothing like that. I'm not here to knock nobody. But I got a theory on that, and I'm going to drill into that in a second. But she comes on there with Kamala, and Kamala is saying, girl, it's hard out here in these streets, girl. And girl, that they not like us, girl. They not like us. In case you don't know, that's the Kendrick Lamar, the chorus of the Kendrick Lamar song. And I think it was an epic fail. It kind of looked silly, ridiculous. It didn't just look ridiculous for Kamala trying to be somebody that she's not. And don't get me wrong, I think Kamala's a smart lady. If you're a Democrat, I think you should like her. I mean, she's your person, and I think that's okay. I'm not Democrat or Republican, but I understand that. But it looks silly when she tries to behave in a way that's different from who she actually is. Like when she says, I was listening to Biggie and Pac in the 80s when I was in college, which was before Biggie and Pac came out, and smoking weed. And, it was just silly. It's silly because what you see this idea that many politicians have, that the way to pull in the majority of the black community is to basically be stupid. That if you want to connect, like their false belief, this is what's really true. They don't talk to intelligent black people like us. They're not talking to, when Kendrick says they not like us, same thing can be said about Kamala. They not like us. So they don't want to talk to the intelligent black people. They don't want to talk to the responsible husbands and mothers and fathers and activists and leaders and teachers and scholars and thinkers and hardworking people and law-abiding citizens. They don't want to talk to people like that. They want to talk to Sexyy Red, or they want to talk to some sort of celebrity. They'll talk to Taraji before they'll talk to anybody who can really tell you what's really going on in the community, what people are really going through. And this is unfortunate because what this has created, which has been in existence for hundreds of years, is this space of sort of the black gatekeepers, right? These are the individuals that the white elite will connect with if they want to control and manage the black community. They present themselves as black leaders, but really they're more like Negro managers. A very popular one that you probably remember was Diddy. Anybody remember when Diddy had his Vote or Die campaign? And just that whole slogan was built on fear. It was built on something that they know is a tried and true method to get black people to vote, which is to make them afraid. So the fear is, if you don't vote, then you're going to die. Well, what does that mean? That means that the Republicans are going to come kill you. So you all have to show up and vote. And that's a very different, and what that's doing, and I want you to understand what's happening here. What's going on here is they're linking to the lowest common denominator. When you're linking to the Sexyy Reds, but you don't want to talk to an intelligent black woman who doesn't want to take her clothes off for a living, you're going to the lowest common denominator. When you skip over all the hardworking, educated black men who are upwardly aspirational, but yet you go talk to a rapper thug who loves to glorify dealing drugs and going to prison, you're linking with the lowest common denominator. When you politic on fear, like the Republicans are going to come kill you if you don't vote for us, and you're not sort of campaigning on desire, like look, here's how you can have a better life, here's what we can do for you, then you are connecting with the lowest common denominator. Let me know if you get what I'm saying. So when it comes to the black community, this is one of the big problems that the politicians have, and hopefully one day they'll fix this. I don't know if they will, because I don't think white people will ever stop being white, and I don't think that certain parts of our community is ever going to change. But but one of the things that they tend to do is when they come to us in a way that is just flat out degrading. It's humiliating. It's very embarrassing. It speaks on the condition of the same significant lack of respect that they've always had for black people. There's always been a belief by most politicians that black people are not capable of thinking for themselves. There's always the belief that most black people need to be told what to do. There's always been the belief that black people are easier to scare than we are to motivate. And so, long story short, when I saw Kamala on the BET Awards, I thought that was out of pocket, inappropriate, and downright shameful. I think that it's great that there are people who will speak about this, who will step out and say, this is nonsense. Let's not even go in that direction. Like we don't want to hear all this. If you're a singer, we want to hear you sing. We don't want you to tell us who to vote for. If you are a rapper, then please rap. We don't really need you to tell us that the Democrats are better than the Republicans or vice versa. And I think that that's the appropriate response, because until you give them that response, they're going to continue to do what they're doing. Okay, so I see Sexyy Red at the BET Awards, which that poor girl, she's a walking tragedy. She looks like a, STD in human form. Like it's just the way she's been presented. I'm not saying that's who she is. I think that she could have been so much more, but I think that there's somebody in the background that's paying her to behave in a way that is just flat out stereotypical. My wife gave a lecture once on all the stereotypes of black women that other people have, the stereotypes that harm all of us, because when they meet you, they assume that this is the category you fit in. When people talk about black jobs, that part of that is driven by this stereotype of you that says you belong in a certain place. You need to play your position. So when you see imagery of black women behaving in ways that are sexually degrading, ignorant, and self-destructive, then they start to believe, people around the world really believe that's what black women are. And when you have black men who are marketed around the world as, dope dealing, gun toting super thugs who want to be ignorant, who want to destroy themselves, who want to get high and drunk, who don't respect women, then people start to believe black men think the same way. Tell me if you've seen this. I don't know if anybody's ever heard a person from another country describe the African American male. Like, do you understand why people from other countries they cringe when they think about the idea of their daughters marrying a black man? The reason they cringe is because the stereotype is that the black male does not love his family, that the black male wants to be ignorant, that the black male does not work hard, that the black male wants to do stupid things to destroy his life and destroy his family. And the problem with that is that a lot of this imagery gets promoted on platforms like BET. This is what they tell the world about you. And I personally think that we should be somewhat offended by this, but you can be offended if you want to, or maybe you're not. It's totally up to you. Now, let's talk about the politicians for a second, okay? So there's one guy, I don't know if he did anything on the BET Awards. A lot of people did, maybe he didn't. But he's been making his rounds to different platforms. His name's Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy. And, I don't dislike the guy at all. In fact, I like him better than Biden and Trump. I think he'd be a better president than both of these guys. But at the same time, I don't really care. And I've seen him on a few different platforms. I have a few friends that have big YouTube channels and whatnot, and they've had him on and had conversations with him. And I think that's fine. I have no problem with that. However, Kennedy reached out to me through a mutual friend or whatever. And this person reached out and said, would you like to have Kennedy on your channel to interview him? And so my first thought was, why in the world would I want, that's a waste of my time. And the person was like, well, why would you, what's going on? And I said, because there's not any problem I'm trying to solve that matters to me that this man can help me solve. There's not a single thing I can think of that matters to me that this man can help me accomplish. Nothing. And now here's what I want us to consider. See, I think that a lot of people that have had him on And then some of them, if you're at a certain level in the black community, like your celebrity level, then that's when the Democrats will talk to you. And then I don't know who the Republicans talk to. They I don't know if they really approach black media like that. But then you got people like a Kennedy who may reach out to the next tier, right? The Democratic Party shows up and they write a big check to the urban radio stations, I suspect, and that leads to the Democrats getting a lot of airplay on the big platforms, whether it's the Breakfast Club or whatever. And then you have that next level. So you might have a Kennedy come in and speak in the places where the Democratic Party won't go to, or they don't have time to go to. And I think all that's fine. I think all that's fine and good. I have no problem with that. But personally, I think that we should take a moment and really reflect on exactly what's happening here. All right. So let me know if it's okay if I go a little bit deep with you. Give me a yes if that's okay. I know it sounds like I'm kind of slowly tiptoeing with my words, but I want to tiptoe because I really want you to understand the point here. And I'm going to make a logical connection that I hope you will be able to at least hear and appreciate. You don't have to agree, but give me a yes if you can at least hear it out. All right. So here's the issue. Here's where the white supremacy comes into the room. White supremacy is insidious. White supremacy and racism is systematic. It's very subtle. It's something that slides into the DNA of every aspect of our country. It's hidden in the fabric of our society. That's what it is. And most of the time when it walks in the room, you don't even know that it's there. So here's the thing. So I'm a black man. I'm sitting here and I'm doing my thing on YouTube or wherever I can have a platform. And I've got a few million followers online in different platforms and whatnot. And I appreciate every one of you. And so here comes Robert F. Kennedy. He's more mainstream. He's nationally known. He reaches out and he gives me the honor, air quotes here, I'm giving air quotes, the honor of talking to him on my platform. And so the natural reaction might be, well, why wouldn't you want to talk to him? I mean, talking to him, that gives you clout. That makes you relevant. That makes you important too. Just like he's important, you'll become more important because he's clearly more important than you. So what I really want to challenge is this false idea that this guy is important in terms of the measure and the space where my importance might matter, or that just because he's important in his neighborhood doesn't mean that he's equally important to me in my neighborhood. Everything is relative. Everything is relative. It goes back to when I taught math at the University of Kentucky. Everything has what they call a measure. And how you measure something determines the relevance, the validity, the importance of that thing. If I look at a fish and I measure the quality of a fish by how well the fish plays baseball, then I'm using the wrong measure for that fish. I'm going to miss a lot of highly qualified fish because fish don't play baseball very well. So basically, here's my point. When I was asked to bring Kennedy on, the implicit assumption, I believe, was, of course you would want to talk to this really important white man because America knows who he is and America doesn't really know who you are. And so my natural response was, why would I waste my time talking to a person who is in a world that doesn't matter to me that much? Why would I waste my time talking to a person who doesn't care about the problems that matter to me the most? Well, when Kennedy, and all the politicians do this, is not just him. I respect the guy because he said something real honest to my friend 19 Keys. He said something like, he said, in his scratchy voice, how he talks, he sounds like, he really sounds like, somebody said in the chat, he sounds like he's been smoking for 70 years. Yeah, and poor guy, I don't know what happened to his throat, but my goodness, man, it must hurt to really talk for him. But anyway, he said something like that he said, I'm never going to pay reparations because everyone who says they're going to give you reparations, they're lying to you. And I agree. They're 100% lying. I respect him for being honest. That's 100% true. But the reality is also that you're really kind of also telling us that one of the problems that matters to us the most, one of the issues that matters to me and the people I care about, is an issue that does not matter to you. Your priorities are not my priorities. Your needs are not my needs. Your goals are not my goals. So given that our goals are not connected, our priorities are not connected, our needs are not connected, why are we talking? Why is me talking to you anything other than a complete waste of my time? Because the time I spend listening to you explain to me why you can't solve problems that matter for me, that's time I could be spending solving my own problems. Do y'all understand? Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying right now? Let me know if you get what I'm saying. It's a very subtle point, but I really want to make this point because I really think that one of the things that you have to acknowledge about white supremacy and racism is that this is not just a white issue. One of the things about racism is that it ain't just white folks that are doing it. We're doing it to ourselves. Because here's the thing. I need you to pay attention now. Listen to me now. When it comes to these fucking elections, they want you to take time out of your life doing the things that matter to you so you can go do something that's going to help them. Your priorities are different from their priorities. As Kendrick Lamar says, they not like us. Your priorities are not their priorities. Your priorities are, I got to keep my son safe. I got to get my kids through school. I got to find a way to pay the bills. I got to build some wealth in my family. I got to stay healthy. I got to make sure my relationships work. Like, those are your priorities. I got to rebuild the black family when I'm dealing with a traumatized, crazy black man or black woman I'm married to, and we trying to hold this thing together. That's your priorities. Those are your problems. That's what matters for you. So when you are taking time away from solving your problems, but going over across town to solve their problem is we can't get elected. We need to stay in power. We need to get enough votes. That's their motherfucking problem. Excuse my French. I'm not going to cuss anymore. I promise you. I'm going to try not to. But I feel really passionate about this because I really need this point to hammer home. They're asking you to take time out of your day, time out of your life to go solve their problem. But let me ask you this. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that they're going to take any time out of their day to come and solve your problem? What do you think? Give me a yes or no. Do you think that Kennedy or Trump or Biden or any of these people is going to take time away, like stop solving their own problem so they can come to the black community, come to the hood and solve your problem? No, they're not. So this is your problem. Let me tell you one of your biggest problems. Your big problem is that you can't solve your problems because you're too busy solving other people's problems. You so busy solving other people's problems. And Dr. Claude Anderson, bless his soul, Dr. Claude Anderson has said this. He said it about your economics, and I'm going to say it about your time. Your time is more valuable than your money. Your energy is more valuable than your money. Your relationships are more valuable than your money. So not only are you giving, think about this. The reason black wealth is dropping is because you're giving up your wealth to give them wealth. But on top of that, you're giving them things that money cannot buy. You're giving them time, energy, and attention that should be invested in you. Because here's the reality, folks. Let me just tell you that I probably sound like a pessimist when I say this, because I'm sorry. I don't believe in the fairy tale of integration. I don't believe in waiting for the white Superman. I don't believe that they give a damn about us. I didn't even believe in things like affirmative action and DEI, even though I did benefit from affirmative action. I'll never stand against it, but I'll never believe that that's the solution. And I think what we're going through right now proves exactly what I'm saying. So here's the deal. Here's the reality that I decided to face a long time ago that I hope you'll consider facing with me. Black problems are gonna belong to black people. Black solutions are gonna have to come from black people. The effort to implement the solutions for black people to black problems is gonna have to come from black people. You are trying to solve 400-year-old problems, which is going to take all of your time, all of your effort, and all of your attention. To do this, we're going to have all hands on deck. And the reason we don't have all hands on deck is because I got to hear some damn politician distracting us by telling us that somehow if we all show up and vote for him, that's going to fix our problem, when he's making it clear. Bless Kennedy. I like the guy. I like him. You know why I like him? Because he's making it clear. No, I ain't giving y'all no reparations. And he's not saying it because he doesn't want to do it. Maybe if he could do it, he would. He's saying, I can't do it and I won't do it. So to me, that's the most honest thing that you can get from a white guy. So Kennedy wins the award for the most honest white guy in America. I have no problem with this man at all. I did when they reached out about him coming on my platform, I wasn't mad about it. I didn't say go to hell. I just said, why would I waste my time talking to this man? What is so important about this person? Oh, I get it. Oh, he's important because white people put him on TV. That's what it. Oh, and that's you don't understand. Like I'm a thinker, and when I think about it, I realize there's nothing. Being on TV does not make you more important than people who are not on TV. The most important people I know are people that you'll never see on national television. When I think about the problems that matter to me, what are the problems that matter to me? Well, let's start with black wealth. Black wealth, the racial wealth gap has been in existence for hundreds of years. The racial wealth gap is declining. Economic despair is everywhere. Economic despair, financial STDs are intergenerational. That's the problem that matters to me. I have no idea how talking to any politician is going to help me solve that problem. Now, if he showed up and said, "Hey, I got a reparations check for everybody, and I have a plan on how we can get this done," then I'd be like, "Absolutely, man. Come on in, bro. Happy to hear from a true ally." Because where I come from, allies write checks. Where I come from, allies show up and put their money where their mouth is. Where I come from, allies are not just people who engage in symbolism. Allies are people that actually have substance. So again, to the extent that some guy comes along, I don't even care if black, white, or whatever. If you have something of substance that you can do to help solve a critical problem that we have in our community, then I am all ears. And I'm just going to tell y'all, this is just a little game I'm going to give y'all right now. When you are out here, how many of you give me a yes? Let me tone the energy down a little bit. I get fired up about stuff, and I don't mean to scare nobody because you probably got babies listening to stuff. But how many of you want to be successful one day? How many of you want to have money? How many of you want to build a business or build wealth or build some sort of family empire or whatever? Give me a yes. All the empire builders in the room, shout yourselves out. Let me know. Just shout it out. Put the name of your business in the chat so other people can see it. Whatever it is you're doing, I want to support you. I'm gonna let you know that I'm praying for your dreams and I hope that they work out for you. I really want to do everything I can to support you on that. All right. Well, here's the thing about being a builder. If you look throughout the history of any of the great builders in American society, let's say whether you're talking about Bill Gates or Sam Walton or anybody that's ever built something extraordinary in their life, or like the brother that owned Beatrice, put his name in the chat. I don't have his name in front of me, but I should mention him too, because I don't want to mention just white people. Black people have built a lot too. Or George Washington Carver or whomever. Most builders are busy building things. Most builders are not easily distracted. Most empire builders, most people that truly build things at a high level are people who are really focused. Reginald Lewis, thank you, Demo. I appreciate that. Most people that build something that's extraordinary, or even Michael Jordan, when he was working to become the best basketball player in the NBA, he was incredibly focused. When people would try to distract him or have a meeting with him, he would say, "Why? Why do I need to meet with you?" Or he'd say, "Look, hey, if I got to meet with you, meet me at the basketball court. I can talk to you while I'm practicing my free throws." His focus was his greatest asset. So what I want you to really just understand is that I encourage you, if you're looking to build something significant and build it in your own image and do something great, and I'm cheering for you, I need you to understand that the greatest liability that people run into is often distractions. Distraction from crazy ass family members who are hating on you every step of the way. It might be distraction from that pretty girl with the big booty who ain't worth a nickel, but somehow you were trained to chase a big butt and a smile. It may be a distraction from bad economic choices. Maybe somebody's getting you to invest in things that aren't going to work very well, or whatever it is, right? You have to minimize the distractions. And one thing I've noticed extensively is that, generally speaking, I think a lot of us are very distracted. I think that we are trained to solve problems for other people, which takes away our time and energy to solve problems for ourselves. So I'm going to say this. I would say with the with when it comes to the BET Awards, I think it's a huge distraction. I only pay attention to it because it influences so many people that I care about, and I like to see what's happening in the culture. So I pay very close attention to the culture, but it's very, very hard for me to watch more than a couple of minutes of it. And the thing about the BET Awards is that it's not always all negative. They have some stuff in there that's positive, because I think that they hear the criticism. I talked to TJ Holmes once on the phone back when he worked with BET, and he said that they had a board meeting. They were pretty pissed off at me for some things that I'd said, and I said, "Look, I don't want to be mean, but I think that what I'm saying is on point." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Actually, it was almost like when I read an article you wrote, it was almost like you were in the room when we were having our meetings. He said it freaked me out that you understood so much about what's going on inside that organization. So, my thing is that I think that we can use our instincts to determine what's healthy and what's not. And I see somebody asked a good question. Thank you very much for your donation, Cameron. I appreciate that. He says your best man at your wedding, Willie D, fully supports him. Why can't you just have a conversation with the guy? Well, you know what? I love Willie, and Willie is one of my best friends. He really is. He was in my wedding. But just because we're buddies, does not mean we agree on everything. But if I did disagree with something with Willie, or if I had an issue with Willie ever, no one would ever hear about it, because I believe in talking to my friends behind closed doors about contentious issues. I don't like to drag stuff out in public. So I fully support Willie. Willie's my friend, but that does not mean that we see eye to eye on everything politically. But he's man enough to know that you can disagree and still be friends, and that's why we're such good friends, and why I respect him immensely. But anyway, I'm going to finish this up, and I want to quickly, before we go, ask you to do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, if you want to get started on wealth, I do have a great program at blackmoney101.com. And it's an introduction to the power of money. You guys know I'm a finance professor. So in the Black Business School, we have helped millions of people buy their first share of stock and build wealth in very simple ways that can work for any family that wants to build across generations. So feel free to go to blackmoney101.com. And also, we have a new program in the Black Business School called Money in a Minute. And this is basically where you can have digestible financial lessons on a specific topic sent to you every day, and that are about 90 seconds long, that you can digest and continue with your day. So I created something called Money in a Minute stock options. And if you want to be invited to participate in that class and get lifetime access, just text the word Miami to the number 87948. If you text Miami to 87948, Miami stands for Money in a Minute. If you text the word Miami to the number 87948, I will send that to you, and you guys can take a look and tell me what you think. All right. So just to kind of recap and close up, with the BET Awards, one of the biggest problems with the BET Awards is that there is a significant national security risk for the Black community to have other people who are not of our culture controlling our culture. Again, there's no other community where you can get away with this. I can't go and create JET and call it Jewish Entertainment Television and control the minds of Jewish people around the world. They would not allow me to do that. That would not be seen as acceptable. And so effectively, what I think you have to realize is that there is a consistent effort. In fact, there is an interest. There's an economic interest that people have in controlling Black culture, controlling Black thinking, controlling what Black people do with our time. And the BET Awards is one of the many ways that certain messages are emanated. That's why you have politicians that will come on the BET Awards and sort of push their message. There's nothing wrong with being a Democrat, nothing wrong with being a Republican. But what is wrong is that there's not the freedom and the flexibility for Black people to simply be who they want to be and choose to go in the direction they want to go. And what you're seeing right now, which is really interesting, is you're starting to see a real revolution happening. You're seeing a lot of people who just say, no, I'm not doing things that are not going to benefit me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's not to say that we won't vote for you. It's to say that if we vote for you, you have to give us something. You have to pay us the same that you would pay yourself. We talk all the time about the gender imbalance or inequities when it comes to gender pay, or inequities and other kinds of pay. Well, what about compensation for your vote? If a white man can ask for something for his vote, why can't I ask for something for my vote as a Black man? Why is it okay for gay people to ask for something for their vote, but not okay for Black people to ask for something for their vote? These are simple rules of reciprocity that and fairness. You talk about fairness and equity and equality. Well, equality means that if you get to do what's best for you, then I get to do what's best for me. If you expect something in exchange for your vote or your labor, then I should expect the same thing. And if you get offended by me changing the rules and demanding that you do the same for me that you would do for yourself, then that is an inherent, very insidious, very problematic form of racism that we're just accustomed to. See, last week there was a whole conversation, a whole blow up in that crazy debate between Trump and Biden about black jobs. And I did a whole podcast episode about black jobs and what a black job is. And I told you a black job could either be a job that's held by an African American, which means a black job could be anything, or a black job in the worst context could be a job that people expect black people to have, a role that they expect you to have. When they say play your position or stay in your place, that to me is another version of a black job. And unfortunately, politically in America, one of the black jobs that we've accepted quite directly for a very long time is this idea that it's our job to get people into office who are not going to do anything for us. That's a black job. That is not a gay job. That is not a job for white women. That is not a job for anybody else but you, because every other group that votes expects something directly for their vote. They expect their politicians to solve their problems, not other people's problems. But when we show up and we say the exact same thing that other groups are saying, suddenly you are not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not doing your black job. I'm not here for a black job. I'm not here to do a job for anybody who isn't going to do a job for me. I believe in something very basic called quid pro quo, something for something. So it does not mean I'm saying, I will never say to you, I've never told you who to vote for. Anybody who knows it, say yes in the chat. I've never told y'all who to vote for, even though I get accused of that all the time. Think about this. The fact that I've never said who you should vote for, but yet I've had people accuse me of telling black people either to vote for a Republican or telling black people not to vote. That right there tells you about how the racism works. That tells you about the fact that in their mind, there is a black job. Their belief is that the black job is to shut up and follow instructions. The black job is to give your vote to somebody who gives nothing back to you. The black job is for you to follow the crowd. So in the minds of these racist individuals who get offended because I simply tell black folks, do what's best for you, that right there is a type of racism. And if you can't see it, I think part of what might be blinding you is the fact that you believe that only conservatives can be racist. They'll talk about a racist Republican in a minute, and I don't disagree with you. But what about the racist Democrats? What about all the Democrats that got angry when you had people, various black men step out and say, look, we want something for our vote. And they were pissed. They were livid. They were offended. They're like, you're not doing your black job. Your black job is to shut up, not ask questions, and do what the hell we tell you to do. And when you don't do what we tell you to do, you are playing out of your position. You are stepping out of line, and that is a serious problem for us. And I'm gonna tell you that's not something you should ever accept. So let me just summarize with this. When it comes to platforms like the BET Awards or any black media outlets where the politicians are going in and kind of getting you to make various political decisions simply based on what everybody else is doing or what you're supposed to do, or trying to force you in through fear to simply do what they tell you to do, those are not your allies. Those are not your friends. To me, your best allies are the people that look at you and look at your life and they say, you know what? Let me hear. You tell me what matters to you. You tell me what's important to you. What's important to you? Okay, getting childcare for your kids, or getting a better job, making more money, or you having a healthier family, or having a healthier body, or being mentally and physically healthy, healing from your trauma. If whatever's important to you, I'm going to align my incentives with yours. They call that's an economic concept that's used in many professions called incentive alignment. Incentive alignment helps avoid other problems that we've discussed before, like moral hazard and other things, where you have a person who's supposed to represent your interests, but they don't represent your interests. They end up representing their own. Politicians are your fiduciaries. Anybody know the term fiduciary? Give me a yes if you know that term. I assume most of you do. If you don't, I'll explain it. Your fiduciaries are people that are supposed to represent you. So a fiduciary that is not doing their job properly is a person who says, you know what, screw you. I'm going to take your vote. I'm going to take your money, and I'm not going to do what's best for you. I'm going to do what's best for myself. That is a violation of their fiduciary responsibility. So when you show up and you tell me, here's how it breaks down. You show up and you come to me and you say, hey, Boyce, I want you to do blank. And I'm going to represent you on Capitol Hill, or I'm going to do whatever. My first question is, okay, how are you going to fulfill your fiduciary responsibility? Because if you don't even take the time to find out what I want, if you don't take the time to find out what's important to me, if you don't take a moment to even have a remote concern for what my needs are, then you are violating your fiduciary responsibility, which makes you a villain if I fall for your nonsense, but it makes me stupid if I give you my money or my vote and you're not doing the things you're supposed to do. So as much as I want to blame it on everybody else, as much as I might want to claim victimhood, the reality is that it always comes back to me, because whether somebody says you do or not, you always have a choice. So that's it. That's my full message to you. I don't care what anybody says to you. Never forget that you always have a choice. Never forget that you always have the option to do what is best for yourself. So figure out what matters to you, do what's best for you, put your energy into that, and I guarantee you that will give you a better life faster than any politician on Capitol Hill. Even when you talk about things like reparations, I don't know how they're going to get reparations through that convoluted Congress that they have, where people can't even get along for 10 minutes. They can. You had two presidents, one of them damn near senile, the other one a complete narcissist. They were arguing over who is the best golfer. It was crazy. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was embarrassing, right? So how in the hell do we ever think that these individuals are going to really lead us to a better life? You will lead yourself to a better life. You can give yourself reparations. Reparations, part of the word reparate is repair. So when you talk about repairing the generational trauma, when you talk about repairing the economic problems, when you talk about repairing the broken families, we're going to have to be the repairmen, and we're going to have to be the ones who are in there getting the job done. The only way you can repair a big problem like this, the only way you can repair a community that's been devastated like this, is if you put all hands on deck and we give our attention to solving the problems that actually matter. So if you come to me and you ain't got some resource or some sort of idea or some sort of access that will help me to solve the problems that matter to me, I'm going to politely say, I'm sorry, I don't have time to talk to you. I don't care how famous you are. I don't care how mainstream you are. I'm not trying to be relevant in spaces where relevance does not matter. I don't care if I'm sitting next to Kennedy and getting attention from all these white people, because that's only going to be a distraction from me doing the things that matter for the people that matter to me. And this is common sense, y'all. This is basic common sense. This is something that everybody else does. Everyone's trained to do except for us. I think that we are somehow relegated. We believe our black job is to be subservient to others and to save other people and to help other people succeed. There are a million movies in Hollywood with a black man saving white folks, and I think that this is part of our blood. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not here to save nobody but me and mines. And me, by me and mines, I'm talking about me, my family, the people in my community, the people that I care about. Everyone else, I just wish them the best. So that's it, guys. That's my 2 cents. It's not meant to be negative or racist or derogatory, and I'm certainly not telling you who to vote for. I think you should vote for whoever you want, but I encourage you to sort of understand and look around the shenanigans and just make decisions that make sense. And if you do that, then your life will improve. I promise you. Okay, so I gotta go, guys. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Boyce Watkins. If you go to boycewatkins.com, I have a new book out. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And basically, these are simple strategies any family can apply that will build generational wealth that lasts 100 years. My PhD is in finance. That's so I know what I'm talking about. And also, I want to invite you all as well. Speaking of solving problems, we are problem solvers. I'm a mathematician, so part of math is solving problems. Every year we have the All Black National Convention. The All Black National Convention is the largest gathering on earth of intelligent Black people who are focusing our energy on solving problems in our community. So we bring together some of the greatest thinkers, business people, real estate experts, crypto experts, relationship experts, healing experts, all together in one venue, and we figure out how to solve our problems. We solve it family by family, community by community. We get it done. So if you'd like to join us at this year's convention, it's going to be right outside Chicago in Lombard, Illinois. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. So, and my wife will be there as well. As you know, my wife is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. And so she works with other people to help heal trauma, because trauma, undiagnosed, untreated trauma is one of the biggest problems in the Black community. And we hear your stories. We do surveys with you guys to figure out what your family situations are like. So we have teams of experts that are focused on making our people better by creating spaces of healing and peace and love and success and all that. It's real basic, y'all. It's real basic. What I really want, if you want to know my vision, my dream for the Black community, it's a very simple dream. I want every person that wants it to have access to mental and physical health. That means you wake up every day, you're happy, you're not stressed. You're feeling good. You're not feeling bad. We're not dying young for preventable illnesses, things like that. I want every person that wants it to also have wealth that comes in the form of financial security and income. Those are two things I think about extensively. My PhD's in finance. I know 1,000 ways to skin that cat. The racial wealth gap is not a mystery. It's very, very easy for me to solve. We've already solved it. We solved it 15 years ago. The problem is getting people to implement the solution instead of being distracted by the non-solutions. The third thing I want is I want love. I want relationships. I want Black men finding reasons to love Black women. I need Black women finding reasons to never give up on Black men. I want Black couples that come together to want to really create a healthy environment for your children, so your kids are not growing up traumatized. I want love. That's all I want. I want health, and I want wealth, and I want us to have good relationships with each other. It's a simple mission, a simple goal. And here's the thing. Here's what's beautiful about it, in my opinion. I want to lay this out here for you, is that the answers are out there. The answers are out there. You got people in your own community. You got the, see, do you understand? You have some of the best therapists on earth in the Black community that understand Black people better than the white people you see on TV. Do you know that you got some of the best medical doctors? You got some of the best school teachers out here. You got some of the best engineers that can build like crazy. And here's the problem. Here's the thing that pisses me off. This thing that burns me up every day is that these individuals don't get the attention they deserve because everybody's paying attention to a mentally ill person like a Sexyy Red. Literally all the screen time that should be taken by the Black dentists, the Black doctors, the Black carpenters, the Black activists and coaches and parents and people that are really that have figured it out. They solved the puzzle. They know how to create a healthy family. They know how to create success in the Black community. Their attention gets sucked away because everybody wants to sit down with a rapper. That should burn you up. I'm sorry, but that irritates me. I don't hate rappers. I like rappers, but Lord Jesus, when they put the spotlight on you and they ask you a question that you're not qualified to answer, the best thing you can do is point the spotlight to the people who deserve it, the people who represent the backbone of the Black community, and not sit here and hog it up for yourself so you can rap about your baby's mamas and your dope felonies and how many people you gonna kill next week, how many Black people you want to murder, and then you're gonna turn around and talk about Black Lives Matter. How the hell you gonna tell me Black Lives Matter in one sentence so you can be trendy, and then tell me how you gonna murder a Black person in another sentence? Nobody talks about this, but tell me that is not the dumbest, most ridiculous, most insane contradiction that you've ever seen in your life. The same rappers who rap about murdering Black people are the same ones who will show up at the Black Lives Matter rally. Y'all been played for stupid. They literally are doing a complete rope-a-dope on you. They literally are reducing your IQ right before your very eyes. There's nobody on earth that thinks it makes sense to have a rapper who raps about killing Black people show up at the Black Lives Matter rally. And if you think something's wrong with me for bringing this up, I say something's wrong with you because you didn't notice it. So common sense is not that common, but I think you can go a long way with common sense. Hey, bro, you said Black Lives Matter, but then you said you killed 5 Black people last week. That's kind of inconsistent. That's a little bit hypocritical. We need to talk about that. But you don't do it. You don't do it. You know why? Well, because he sold, so many albums last year, and he's famous and he's popping, and they put him on TV, and you get manipulated. You get manipulated by the BETs and the Paramounts that say, "Oh no, this is Black culture." But what they're doing is they're making us look like a pack of idiots. So anyway, so that's what the convention is designed to do. It's designed to focus on the people that are actually solving problems. We had one speaker last year, Dr. Mary Stoddard, who was raised on a plantation, literally. I forgot what they picked cotton when she grew up. She literally picked cotton, and they had 17 siblings. She was born poorer than everybody in this room, and all 17 of her siblings all graduated from college, not because their parents got affirmative action, not because they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They all graduated from college because they worked hard and they supported each other. And now all of Mary's children, all 5 of her Black children, are PhDs and medical doctors. So I'm trying to understand, if you really care about Black success, if you really care about the Black community and how we can overcome our quote unquote oppression, why the hell are you not studying families like that? Why are we not? We should literally put them in a lab and study every single thing about their culture and say, okay, how did we end up with a medical doctor instead of another Sexyy Red? Because what they're doing is they're mass producing the Sexyy Reds. They're producing them just like Tesla's in the factory. They're mass producing the Cardi B's, and they're mass producing the gangster rappers and the young thugs and everything else. They're mass producing that through corporate media. That's what they're doing. So the same way they're mass producing super thugs, we should be mass producing superstars. We should be studying the people in our community. Like we should go to places like the Muhammad University of Islam in Chicago. I spoke there, and Brother Nuri Muhammad's coming to the convention this year. He's coming to speak. I went there, and I kid you not, they had 12-year-old kids in the classroom who were asking questions that would typically come out of the mouth of a graduate student. Why aren't we studying that and putting resources behind that? Because right across the street, there's a well-funded school in the city of Chicago where half the kids can't read. So why is it? Think about this. I need you to process this. This all comes down to common sense, people. Why are you putting money into the school where half the kids can't read, but you're denying the funding to the school where the 12-year-olds sound like graduate students? Does that sound like a conspiracy to you, or am I just tripping? Does that sound like it's by design, or am I just being radical? Am I just being a crazy radical black man, the scary radical black man who's making stuff up? Is that what it is? Am I the crazy one? Or do you live in a racist society that wants to see you all up in the dirt? They don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see your kids safe. They don't want to see you and your family financially secure. They don't want to see you educated. They want to see you, they want to see some more Sexyy Reds. That's what they want to see. They want to see some more poor little girls who ain't got no daddy that loves them, that think that sex is the only way to communicate with a man, who are all going to vote for the Democrats, right? That's what they want. Like, as long as you vote for the Democrats, then you're an ally, you're a friend, we support you, right? And again, nothing wrong with voting for the Democrats. So I want to make that clear. But seriously, that's what they want. They want more of that. They don't want your daughters growing up feeling empowered on any significant level, because in their mind, this is empowerment. This Sexyy Red, like, I'm gonna have sex with anybody with a bag of Cheetos and $20 in his pocket, catch every disease in the book, have unwanted children all over the place, be all wrapped up in trauma and violence and everything else. That's what they celebrate. They celebrate this. Shows like the BET Awards are considered to be a celebration of the culture. And sometimes you have to stop and say, well, what exactly are you celebrating? Like, what are we celebrating? Are we celebrating more Black death? Because the Klan used to do that. They celebrated when a Black person died. Is that what the goal is? Because I'm gonna tell you, this ain't making no sense. The math ain't mathing, and until we take a step back and admit to that, I think we're gonna have the same problems. So I'm cheering for the right team. I didn't want to disrespect the people from Kennedy's camp, but I literally was like, I can't logically think of any reason why I should consider you important enough to even bring you into my platform. I'll bring somebody like Brother Nuri Muhammad here any day of the week. Nuri can hit me up anytime. And the reason is because I know Nuri cares about what I care about. And I know Nuri has solutions. If every Black man in America was raised to think like Nuri Muhammad, then the Black community would be the greatest community on the entire planet. Do you understand? That if we literally, so process this. Think about this. Why do you think it is that they've trained you to believe that the Nation of Islam is dangerous? That they literally will put out reports about how dangerous they are. It's really interesting that whenever you have something or someone who has an authentic, meaningful solution for the Black community, they always consider that person to be dangerous. Isn't that something? Do you ever process that? Do you ever sit back and think about that? Like, why is it that every time somebody comes, when Malcolm comes along, oh, Malcolm's dangerous. Marcus Garvey comes along, oh, he's dangerous. Dr. Claude Anderson comes along, oh, he's dangerous. Farrakhan comes along, oh, he's dangerous. And I just think that that's really fascinating. So I think that what we have yet to really understand is that sometimes your friends really ain't your friends. I remember being a little kid, and sometimes you remember that time when you were little and you thought somebody was your friend, but they really weren't. They were sabotaging you, making fun of you, stealing your lunch money, getting you in trouble. And then somebody had to explain to you that person you think is your friend, that's not really your friend. And I think it's the same thing with us. I think we have to understand that the people we think are our friends really are not our friends, because if you were my friend, you would not want the worst for me. You'd want the best for me. You wouldn't want me in the dirt. You'd want me standing tall. You wouldn't want me to keep failing over and over so I can remain dependent on you. You would want me to be successful so I can stand on my own 2 feet. So personally, I think that the Black community doesn't really have any friends. I think that we have to become our own friends. And I really question whether or not we're committed to that idea, because I see a lot of things that don't imply that. So anyway, that's it. I'm done. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Reminder, we do financial consciousness training for the art of economic elevation every morning. It is free. It's totally free in the Black Business School. If you'd like to join us for tomorrow morning's class, just pull out your phone and text the word morning, MORNING. It's called Money in the Morning. We start off every day with economic success and economic elevation. So you can text the word morning to 87948, text morning to 87948, and I will send you a link where you can join us tomorrow morning. And also, my wife, I mentioned to you all that my wife is an expert on trauma. So if you want to heal the trauma in your past or heal the trauma in your family, get along with your spouse or whomever, feel free to reach out to my wife. She's a great researcher. She's super smart. And her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. And maybe she can help you. She helps a lot of people in the community. And I think that she's the prettiest therapist I know, and one of the smartest professors on the planet, and just an awesome all around person. So feel free to take a look at her website if you think there's something there that can help you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate you. And don't forget, this podcast is on Spotify. So just look up my name on Spotify or Apple, and you can find my podcast there. Have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Love you. Peace.